Hello, everyone. I'm Harvey Brownstone, and today's special guests are music legends whose body of work encompasses some of the most iconic songs ever recorded. As lead vocalists in one of the greatest groups of all time, the Fifth Dimension, they recorded such classics as Up, Up, and Away, Aquarius, Let the Sun Shine In, Wedding Bell Blues, One Less Bell to Answer, Stone Soul Picnic, and so many more. After 10 years with the Fifth Dimension, they established themselves as a duo and had immediate success with their number one hit, You Don't Have to Be a Star to Be in My Show. They've won 8 Grammy Awards and earned 15 gold and 3 platinum records. They were the first African-American couple to host their own major network primetime television series. And in 2004, they published a book, which I loved, entitled Up, Up, and Away, How We Found Love, Faith, and Lasting Marriage in the Entertainment World. And finally, this year, they released their long-awaited album entitled Blackbird, Lennon-McCartney Icons. The album went to number 1 on its first day of release on the iTunes R&B chart. They continue to perform to sold-out audiences, and most recently, they can be seen on television as guest stars in The Waltons' Homecoming, which will be airing again on December 11th. And they'll be in the Hollywood Christmas Parade on December 17th. On July 26th of this year, they celebrated their 52nd wedding anniversary. What a thrill to welcome Marilyn-McCoo and Billy Davis Jr. to our show. Marilyn and Billy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Harvey.
Thank you for that
was great. I was saying, is he talking about us?
I was. You know, I have to tell you that in the last 50 years, there has never been a week in my house where I wasn't playing at least one of your albums, especially your live album, which is my all-time favorite. I want you to know it's a huge dream come true to have you on our show. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thanks for having us. Thanks.
Before we go any further, I want to congratulate you both on something monumental that is going to be happening very soon. You are about to get your second star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Your first star was as part of the Fifth Dimension, and now you're getting a second star in your own right as Marilyn-McCoo and Billy Davis Jr. There are very, very few people who have ever been given this honor. I am so proud of you. Congratulations, Marilyn and Billy.
Well, thank you, Harvey. You know, we didn't know that would ever happen for anyone, but thank God it happened for us. And it's just a body of work that we've done and that we keep doing. And I guess people are enjoying it.
We feel very blessed that people have felt strongly enough about our work to want to honor us in that way. And we're excited. We're really excited. Our manager said, you're going to get that second star.
Right.
We said, well, the first one was great. He said, yes, but the second one will even be better.
It absolutely, well, they're both equal in my view because they demonstrate different periods of your career, but together the totality is such a symbol of love that the world has for you. And I'm glad that you're soaking it all up. You so deserve it.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
We love what we're doing. Both of us, even though we didn't know each other growing up, we both had the same dream. And it's just amazing to see it come true and to continue on for us.
I want to ask each of you, starting with you, Billy, who were your musical influences growing up?
Well, you know, a long time ago, it was Nat King Cole. And believe it or not, Frankie Lane. You remember Frankie Lane? And Sam Cooke, Clyde McFadden, just all time. Doris Day. I had Ella Fitzgerald. I mean, Frank Sinatra. I mean, when you want to be an entertainer, you study all these people. You listen to them, you admire them for what they do, you know, and how they sound and the difference in their voices and how beautiful they are, you know.
Yeah. And what about you, Marilyn?
Well, I grew up loving torch songs, sad songs about unrequited love. I mean, when I was 7 and 8 years old, I used to walk around the house singing those songs. And my mother used to look at me like, what do you know about the man that got away? Judy Garland, I thought she was just the greatest. Ella Fitzgerald, I thought was amazing. I loved the way that she sang her music and the notes that she picked. And she was awesome. And I was so thrilled to have met her, you know, at that time in her life and mine, to meet one of my my all-time great. She was just absolutely the best.
She's an all-time great.
Yes.
That's it. That's it.
Interestingly enough, men usually talk about the men that they like and women talked about the women that they liked, but I was also a Frank Sinatra fan.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't surprise me because of your vocal technique and your breathing. You have an amazing way of phrasing, Marilyn, that goes right into somebody's heart because you make people feel like you're singing only to them.
Well, thank you. That is lovely. That is so nice of you to say that.
Now, of course, everyone knows about the phenomenal success you had in the Fifth Dimension. And Marilyn, your lead vocals in songs like Last Night I Didn't Get to Sleep at All and One Less Bell to Answer really gave the group its signature sound with that perfect pitch, crystal clear voice of yours. Do each of you have a favorite song from the Fifth Dimension?
There's a song that I did. It was not a big hit or anything like that, but it was one of my favorites. It was called Love's Lines, Angles, and Rhymes.
Yes.
It was such a complicated lyric, but I don't know. It was another Torch song, but that was one of my favorites. In addition to One Less Bell to Answer.
Billy, do you have a favorite?
I think my favorite was Aquarius Let the Sunshine In.
Oh. Yeah, you just picked two of my favorites. Now, as you know, the music of the Fifth Dimension has had a huge renaissance because of the blockbuster multi-award-winning documentary Summer of Soul about the 1969 Harlem Cultural Festival. You must be thrilled that a whole new generation of people are becoming fans of your music.
It's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Just the whole idea of the Harlem Cultural Festival, even having this amazing, well, I can't call it a renaissance because they didn't know about it when it first happened. But for Questlove to be able to find that material and to put it together the way that he has, it's a magnificent work of art.
Well, one of the things, Harvey, is that we knew we did it in 1969, but we never knew what happened to all of that footage. And so for Questlove to call us and come up with this stuff 50 years later, saying that, hey, we got some footage of you guys back in 1969. Would you like to see it? And we said, are you kidding? Sure. Everybody want to see themselves 50 years ago, So he said, yes, we want to see it. And it was amazing. It was amazing to see.
At the time that we recorded it, we didn't even know it was being recorded. We were performing it live in front of that wonderful audience of 50,000 people. And we were just excited to be there in front of them because we knew a lot of them probably weren't familiar with the Fifth Dimension's music at that time because so many of our hits were being played on the pop stations.
That's right.
And this was more of an R&B oriented audience. But we were just thrilled to be there in front of them. And then to see this life that it's taken on is amazing.
And it's a perfect time in your lives for this to happen because the new album, which we're going to talk about. So all of us who didn't get to be at that festival now get to be there, along with all the new people that weren't even alive then. It's amazing.
Right. That's right.
And we get to be there to watch many of the artists that we didn't even know were performing in that festival because it was a 6-week long event. And we were just there one day.
It's amazing.
And to see Stevie Wonder when he was 18 years old playing drums, it was like,
amazing.
What this kid can, he can do everything,
Everything.
Yeah, that was an iconic and is an iconic documentary. Now, Marilyn, you were the first person to record Saving All My Love for You in 1978, which later became a big hit for Whitney Houston. I actually prefer your version, which is on your Marilyn and Billy album. And I always wanted to ask you why the record company didn't do more to promote your version of the song.
You never have an answer to that. But, when I heard Whitney's version, I thought it was brilliant. I thought she did an amazing job with it. I listened to the direction that she took it in and the ideas that she had. And I said, that's a huge hit song and a huge hit performance. So, you have to give somebody their props when they do a brilliant job like that.
Well, I have an idea for the next album. I would love to see you do an engineered duet with her of that song.
That's an interesting concept. And an engineered duet with Whitney singing "Saving All My Love for You."
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your version and her version blended, or you singing it now with her, I think would be an incredible moment. But I'm just a fan, you know. Now, another thing that was really cool about you, Marilyn, is that you hosted the TV show Solid Gold from 1981 to 84, and then again from 86 to 88. You looked like you were having such a good time on that show.
You know, I really did enjoy it. It was a great opportunity just to stay up with what was happening in the music trends in that time, because, you know, we weren't having hits at that time, but we were able to keep up with the hits that were happening, and got a chance to meet so many amazing artists on the program. I loved it. And Billy came on and performed. We performed together and he performed. You know, it was a lot of fun.
Isn't it a shame that we don't see shows like that anymore on TV?
Well, you know, they just don't have the variety shows anymore. I don't know why, but variety shows were just the best at that particular. It gave the artists a chance to be seen, and they let the world know what they could do instead of just listening to them on records. You know?
And who knows, they can always come back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, the thing about the two of you, when you're on TV, it's an event. And that's really special. And you've always been able to maintain that mystique and that specialness about your presence on the screen. And I love that about you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Harvey.
Now, one thing that many people may not know is that both of you have had very successful stage careers. Billy, you starred in the musical Blues in the Night, and you starred in the North Carolina theater production of Dreamgirls, which I got to see. Was that a nice change for you from doing concerts?
Well, yes, I enjoyed it, but it was nice. It was a good break away from doing concerts and things like that. It gave me a chance to concentrate on being another character instead of myself, you know. And that's always interesting, because when you're somebody else, you can get away with a lot of stuff. But when you're yourself, you have to be careful.
And you can't get away with
anything.
And Marilyn, you starred on Broadway in Showboat, which I saw in 1996, I think it was. And you've starred in productions of Anything Goes, My Name is Alice, and Man of La Mancha. I'm wondering why there's never been a Broadway show or a movie about the two of you. Don't you think your life together would make an amazing story?
Yeah.
Well, we've had a lot of interesting experiences in our lives. And who knows? Again, it ain't over till it's over.
Yeah, right.
Well, I think it's going to happen. It's a story that needs to be told, and it lends itself perfectly to the Broadway stage. Now, Marilyn, your solo album, The Me Nobody Knows, which got a Grammy nomination in 1991, is really spectacular and very uplifting. And the two of you have recorded two albums entitled Coming Together and Marching to Zion for the Soldiers of the Second Coming Ministry. Tell me about the importance of incorporating your faith into your music.
Well, we don't keep it a secret about us that we're Christians and that we're true believers in our faith, you know? So we have a ministry, and we get into it just like everybody else. We worship the Lord, and we enjoy it. We feel like it's one of the major things that we should do, and it keeps peace in our house. So yes, it's some good music on those religious albums.
You know, a number of people have asked us over the years how we've managed to stay together for over 50 years. And we have to be totally honest with them and let them know that, that we truly thank the Lord for the strength of our relationship. And so when we're talking to people about, they may come and talk to us about a problem or what have you, we try to share with them how we work through our challenges.
I actually think that the Lord gave you those voices so that you could convey healing and love to everyone else.
Oh, that's lovely.
Thank you. Thanks for that.
That's very, that is a beautiful thing to say.
Yes.
It's how I feel when I listen to your music and when I see you, even now. Now, as I mentioned in my introduction, you recently released your brilliant new album entitled Blackbird, which is a collection of iconic Beatles songs written by Lennon and McCartney. I want to start by asking you about the title song Blackbird, which makes a very powerful statement about civil rights and justice. What inspired you to make this album and to turn to the Beatles for inspiration?
Well, Blackbird was basically written as a civil rights song, and there was a real reason why Paul decided to write that song, because he could see some oppressed people, When we were planning on doing this particular album, we didn't know how it was going to go or what we were going to do. But Nick Mendoza, our producer, had talked to us about, hey, how do you want to take this thing? And he knew that we had been doing Blackbird and some of the Beatles music on stage. And so he wanted to ask us about what was happening in the world today and how we felt about it. So we wanted to make a statement about what was happening today and the division that we are feeling in our society. So we ended up doing the Beatles music. We felt like the Beatles music was fitting for what's happening today. We made a political statement with the Fifth Dimension. Yes.
We did a recording called The Declaration of Independence. It was 3 songs put together. The music was written by a friend of ours, and we really liked it. And then we thought that we put it together with Billy singing "A Change Is Gonna Come," which was just so beautifully done. And then we ended it with a statement called "People Gotta Be Free." So that's a lot of people aren't familiar with that particular recording. That was done with the Fifth Dimension, but we've had a lot of teachers come and thank us for the Declaration of Independence, because they said it was a wonderful way for them to teach. I feel funny calling it the lyrics because it was actually, a statement that was written for our country.
And not only that, we got a chance to sing it at the White House.
Really?
For the president, who was
it? Was Nixon.
President Nixon
at that time,
and 50 governors that we were there, and we were performing for them, and we sung the Declaration of Independence, and they didn't know what to do,
I'm so glad we've brought attention to that song now, because people can go back and listen to it. I'm really glad that you've raised it so that people can refresh their memories that you were doing this 40 years ago.
That's right. Yeah.
That's right.
Are you thrilled with the public response to the album and the great success you're having with it?
Oh, yes. Yes, we are. Because, at this time in our lives, to be able to put something out like that, and we're just thankful for EE1, that label is owned by Kathy Ireland, and being distributed by BMG, which is one of the largest distributors in the world, and record company also. It's unheard of for that to happen for us now in this time of our lives.
Well, the other song that really struck me was Ticket to Ride, because you recorded it with the Fifth Dimension on the Magic Garden album. And now you've done it a totally different way as a blues song. That was really a brilliant perspective, given the message of the album. How did you come up with that version?
Well, to tell you the truth, Harvey, I was looking at the lyrics of that song, and I thought, well, I've done this song once before, but I have to do it in a different way. And studying the lyrics, I was saying, my God, this song is about a breakup. It's really a hurt song. So there's blues in the middle of that kind of stuff. And I said, well, let me see if I can take it into a down-home blues sound. And that's exactly the way it came out.
The thing about your interpretation of classic Beatles songs in the context of our current struggle to overcome systemic racism and police brutality and inequality is that you're making us rethink the messages of those lyrics. For example, Fool on the Hill made me think about how politically divided the country is and how intolerant we are of each other. You know what I mean?
Yes, right. And it's something that's getting worse really now, but it's something that we need to really take a look at, because it shouldn't be like that. We have to live together. We have to be here. We are more alike than we are different. So a lot of people, they just have to get it into their psyche that this is the way it's going to be.
What I like about Fool on the Hill is that it shows how we tend to misunderstand one another. Mm-hmm. And if we would just take a little more time to listen to one another as we talk, we'd find out that there's a lot of depth in people. We misjudge people because they come from a culture that we don't understand. Right. And Fool on the Hill was a beautiful way of making that statement that we just miss so much when we don't listen.
Well, the beauty of music is that people are listening. When they may not be listening to someone talking, we listen to your music. The whole world listens to your music because of your voices and because of your material. So you're healers once again.
Well, thank you.
Well, music is about healing, isn't it?
Sure.
Music is about giving people a chance to feel good and to relax and enjoy their lives. And what a blessing to be able to provide that for them. We love that.
But not only to the public, it's healing to the entertainer that's singing it. That's really putting it out there because they feel it. They feel what comes from the heart goes to the heart.
And this album does exactly what all of your concerts and albums do. You entertain, you inspire, and you comfort.
Mm-hmm.
Now, have you heard from Paul McCartney or Ringo Starr about what they think of the album?
Maybe the record company has, or our management company have, but we haven't. No, we haven't. And we still got time.
Yeah.
I'm going to send them this interview.
Okay.
Now, you've mentioned, and I've mentioned, you've been married 52 years, which is such a beautiful thing. And your book, Up, Up, and Away, chronicles your journey and your struggles on and off the stage, individually and together as performers and as a married couple. What made you decide to write that book?
Well, I think one of the ideas was that people were constantly asking us, how do we manage to work together and live together and still enjoy each other and so we felt like we wanted to share with them some of the struggles that we've been through, because every marriage has them. And we wanted people to be encouraged when they think that they're having problems and they think they can't work them out, that you can work them out. And it's about friendship. It's about, again, listening to each other, caring about each other. And
well, what comes through is the incredible respect you have for each other.
Yeah, well, Harvey, one of the things is that when we wrote the book, we wanted to make sure that we wrote a book that was going to help couples, that was going something, because just right, that's why we told about ourselves, because we wanted to be truthful with them about these are the things that happen in a relationship, and if we couldn't tell it like that, then we didn't want to write the book, because it didn't mean nothing. We don't want to put any fictitious stuff out there.
No, there's an authenticity and a sincerity about that book and about the two of you that really shines through. I just loved it. I want to briefly mention your recent appearance in the Waltons Homecoming TV movie, in which you sang Silent Night. That was such a beautiful moment, and it was so well done. You must be very pleased with how that turned out.
Yes, we are. In fact, we were doing a couple of shows the other night at the Catalina Bar and Grill Jazz Club here in Los Angeles. And we were singing that song, Silent Night, and we sung it the same way that we do on the album. And but only this time we had the whole club to have audience participation and singing the second verse with us, and it just lit up the club. It was just really beautiful, very touching moment.
We were really pleased to be a part of that story too. The Waltons Homecoming. Right. It's done so beautifully, and it's showing people coming together, getting along. We love the idea of being in the church, with this whole wonderful mixture of people together, just praising the Lord.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. I want our viewers to know that the Waltons Homecoming will be aired again on December the 11th on the CW network. So Marilyn and Billy, now that you've seen the huge success of the Blackbird album, and you've been reminded that you have a massive fan base out there who love you, I am pleased to tell our viewers that Marilyn and Billy have agreed to record some new albums on the BMG label in the very near future. Have you decided yet on a concept for the new album?
Well, we're
still working on that.
We're still working on the ideas now. We're getting closer to it, but we won't talk about it until we're definitely clear about where it's going.
We were surprised when that one came through, because we thought, well, the Blackbird album, it's doing well, but that's going to be the album. That's great for us. And then all of a sudden, hey, we want you to do another one. You know, it's like, whoa, okay.
Okay,
We're ready. We're ready.
But you see, you're both so humble. I don't know whether you realize that you're both singing as well, if not better than you ever have before. And the world really needs you and appreciates what's the word? The energy that you put out in your music. And I'm not at all surprised. I can tell you that even if you don't do the Whitney duet, I am going to buy that album and I want you to come back to promote it.
Thank you, Harvey.
We definitely will.
And before we go, I'm happy to announce that on February the 12th, 2022, for the Valentines Weekend, Marilyn and Billy will be headlining at the Orleans Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. And I can assure you that I will be in the audience. I can't wait.
Well, we can't wait to see you in person. I mean, this is almost in person.
Right.
But we can't wait to actually be in the same room with you.
Yeah.
Me too. Now, I know that you were at the Catalina Club. How does it feel to be performing live again after all this time?
Great.
It feels good. You know,
Great.
Don't forget the pandemic happened and we were off for almost close to 2 years. And it was fun. We had a great time. And we're just glad to do what we do.
Well, I'm still hoping that you put out a DVD concert for all of the people that aren't able to attend your shows.
Well, we'll see.
That's interesting.
That's a really good idea. That's a very good idea. And we'll see if we can make that happen.
Yeah.
And one more thing, I want to give a special shout out to Marilyn and Billy's dear friend and my dear friend, Robert Allen Arno, who was instrumental in making this very special interview happen. Thank you, Robert. And a big thank you to Marilyn and Billy's wonderful publicist, Steve Rosenblum.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much. And Robert has been a friend and a fan for a number of years.
Yeah.
And he's made a lot of good things happen in our lives.
He is the most devoted fan. I think I'm number 2, but he's definitely number 1.
Yes, he is. Well, Robert's done a lot of things for not only us, for the Fifth Dimension.
That's right.
When we were all together. I mean, Robert's been with us for a long time.
And he is one of the greatest promoters, not only of your music, but of your legacy.
Yes. Yes, he is.
Well, Marilyn and Billy, I want to thank you for the joy you've brought to me and to your millions of fans by sharing your incredible talent and the way you've lived your lives as entertainers and as a couple and through sharing your faith. It's been such an inspiration to all of us. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on our show. I know how busy you are. I will never forget your kindness.
Well, thanks for having us, Harvey.
Yes,
we appreciate it very much.
Thank you for inviting us to be with you, and we look forward to seeing you in Vegas.
Yeah.
I'll be there. I'll be the one screaming in the first row.
Okay.
Our guests have been the reigning king and queen of pop and soul, Billy Davis Jr. and Marilyn McCoo. My name is Harvey Brownstone. Thank you to our producer, Steve Silver. Thank you all for joining us. See you next time.
Remember to subscribe to the Harvey Brownstone Interviews YouTube channel. And be sure to check out more great interviews with Harvey Brownstone on harveybrownstoneinterviews.com.